The theater lights slowly dim, wrapping the AGT champion stage in a hush so deep it feels almost sacred. The crowd, moments ago buzzing with excitement, falls into an uneasy silence. This is the Champions Edition, where winners, legends, and record breakers return. Everyone here is already proven. Everyone except, perhaps, the man now walking toward center stage. Marcelito Pomoy steps into the spotlight with quiet humility. No dramatic entrance. No flashy costume. Just a simple suit, polished shoes, and eyes that carry a lifetime of struggle and hope. He pauses for a moment, taking in the massive crowd, the glowing cameras, and the judges seated before him. Among them sits Simon Cowell, arms crossed, expression unreadable. Simon has seen everything, or so he believes. Simon leans forward slightly. Marcelito, he says, his voice calm but direct, you already won hearts before. This is the champion stage. Why come back? Marcelito grips the microphone gently, his hands steady despite the pressure. He smiles, a small, sincere smile. Sir, he replies softly, because music saved my life. And I want to show how far it can take me. The audience responds with warm applause, sensing the weight behind his words. A soft orchestral intro begins to play, slow, elegant, almost fragile. The sound fills the hall like a quiet promise. Marcelito closes his eyes, takes a deep breath, and straightens his posture. In that still moment, everything feels balanced on a single note waiting to be born. Simon watches closely now, his curiosity fully awakened. The crowd leans forward. No one speaks. No one moves. The stage is set, not for noise or spectacle, but for something unexpected, something powerful. And then Marcelito opens his mouth. The very first note floats out of Marcelito Pomoy's mouth like a whisper carried on glass. It is soft, controlled, and impossibly delicate. In an instant, the theater changes. What was tension becomes confusion, then disbelief. The voice filling the hall is not the one anyone expected. It is a pure, soaring female operatic voice, rich with emotion and flawless in pitch. Judges exchange quick glances. Heidi Klum's eyes widen, her lips parting in silent shock. Alicia Dixon leans forward, gripping the edge of the desk as if afraid the moment might disappear. The audience sits frozen, unsure whether to clap, breathe, or question their own ears. Some laugh nervously, others cover their mouths. This doesn't feel real. The orchestra swells gently behind him, strings lifting the melody higher and higher. Marcelito stands completely still, eyes closed, his face calm, almost peaceful. Each note flows effortlessly, powerful yet tender, as if the voice itself is telling a story of longing and grace. The high notes soar through the hall, clear and strong, without strain. It is opera-level precision, clean, emotional, and commanding. Simon Cowell, known for his brutal honesty, raises an eyebrow. He doesn't smile. He doesn't interrupt. But his arms slowly uncross. His eyes lock onto Marcelito, searching for an explanation that doesn't exist. This is not a trick. This is not technology. This is talent, raw and undeniable. As the final note of the phrase hangs in the air, the music softens. The audience remains silent, stunned into stillness. No applause yet. No cheers. Just disbelief suspended in time. Then, as the orchestra pauses, Marcelito lowers his chin slightly. His expression changes, not dramatically, but enough to be noticed. It's as if something inside him is shifting, preparing to reveal another side. The silence deepens. Everyone senses it. Something else is coming. Without warning, the silence shatters. The orchestra strikes again, deeper, heavier, more dramatic. Marcelito lifts his head, and in a split second, everything changes. The delicate presence from moments ago vanishes. His stance widens. His chest expands. And then, from the very same body, a deep, commanding male baritone bursts into the theater. The reaction is instant and explosive. Gasps ripple through the audience like a wave. People jolt upright in their seats. One woman lets out an uncontrollable, "Oh my God." Judges' jaws drop in unison. The contrast is so extreme it feels impossible, as if two singers have somehow merged into one. The voice is powerful, grounded, and resonant, rolling through the hall with authority. Simon Cowell sits forward now, elbows on the desk, disbelief written plainly across his face. His mouth opens slightly, then closes. He shakes his head once, slowly, as if refusing to accept what his ears are hearing. This isn't just range, this is transformation. Marcelito moves seamlessly between voices. One moment, the soaring female tone returns, bright, emotional, angelic. The next, the thunderous male baritone answers it, strong, protective, unwavering. The song becomes a dramatic conversation, a musical duel between light and shadow, tenderness and strength. Each switch is clean, instant, and perfectly timed. The orchestra swells to match him, building intensity with every exchange. The audience is no longer frozen, they're overwhelmed. Hands clutch chests. Tears begin to fall. Cameras cut to faces in shock, disbelief, and pure awe. This isn't a performance anymore, it's a revelation. Simon exhales sharply and mutters, barely audible, unbelievable. For a man rarely moved, this is surrender. As Marcelito prepares for the final passage of the song, both voices grow stronger, closer, more daring, pushing towards something even greater. And everyone knows it. The best is still coming. The orchestra begins its final rise, every instrument building toward a powerful climax. Marcelito stands perfectly centered beneath the spotlight, sweat glistening on his brow, breath controlled, focus unbroken. This is the moment where most singers play it safe. Marcelito does the opposite. He begins the final chorus with the female voice, soft yet fearless, lifting the melody higher than before. The notes stretch, shimmer, and soar, filling every corner of the theater. The audience holds its breath. The sound is so pure it feels fragile, like it could shatter with the slightest mistake. Then, without pause, the male baritone enters, strong, commanding, wrapping around the higher notes like an echo from another soul. Back and forth they go. Question. Answer. Plea. Promise. It feels like two lives, two stories, colliding in perfect harmony. Marcelito isn't switching anymore, he's blending, weaving both voices together in a way that defies logic. The crowd can't contain itself. People rise from their seats mid-song, hands over mouths, eyes filled with tears. Judges glance at one another in disbelief. Heidi shakes her head repeatedly. Alicia wipes her eyes. Even the other champions backstage are watching on monitors, stunned into silence. Simon Cowell slowly stands up. The audience notices, and erupts. This is rare. This is respect. Simon doesn't clap yet. He just watches, eyes fixed, absorbing every note. When the final note finally explodes into the air, long, powerful, flawless, the orchestra cuts. Silence. Then the theater detonates. Thunderous applause crashes from every direction. Cheers, screams, standing ovations blend into one overwhelming roar. Simon begins to clap, then nods, then finally speaks into the microphone, his voice steady but changed. I've judged thousands of singers, he says, shaking his head, but I have never seen anything like that. Marcelito lowers his head, overwhelmed, as the applause continues, because in this moment, he hasn't just performed. He has made history. The applause refuses to fade. Even as the music stops and the lights soften, the audience remains on its feet, clapping, cheering, shouting Marcelito's name. He stands at center stage, visibly emotional now, one hand over his chest, the other gripping the microphone as if it's the only thing keeping him grounded. His eyes glisten, not with pride, but gratitude. Behind the judge's desk, Simon Cowell steps forward again. The room quiets, slowly, respectfully. "Marcelito," Simon says, his voice calm but sincere, "what you just did wasn't a performance. It was an experience." He pauses, searching for the right words. "You didn't just show range. You showed courage. And that's what makes a true champion." The other judges echo the praise, but it's the crowd's reaction that says everything. Fans chant. Some cry openly. Others record the moment, knowing they're witnessing something that will be replayed for years. Backstage, fellow champions applaud in disbelief, shaking their heads, smiling like students who've just learned something new about what's possible. Marcelito finally speaks. His voice, now simply his own, trembles slightly. "I grew up with nothing," he says. "Music gave me a voice when I felt invisible. Tonight, I wanted to share that gift with all of you." The audience erupts again, louder than before. As the golden lights fade and the camera pulls back, Marcelito bows deeply to the judges, the crowd, and the stage that changed his life once more. In that moment, he is no longer just a champion of a show. He is a symbol. A reminder that greatness doesn't come from perfection, but from daring to be different, standing alone in the spotlight, and proving that the impossible is only waiting for someone brave enough to sing it into existence.